All right. Good morning and welcome to our channel. So it's going to be an early morning. I've got a lot of things going on. I would take care of today. And for those of you yesterday, happy Thanksgiving. But unfortunately, we have to report some news today that's very concerning. One person's lost their life. Another is fighting for their life. And another is a cold killer, really. So how does that figure into the title here of this video, subsidies and so on? Well, it started out, President Trump was made aware that two National Guardsmen, one was killed. And so I'm looking here to see, it appears that National Guard soldier Sarah Beckstrom has died from injuries. And also Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, which was the National Guard, was in place in the city to, of course, defend the United States. Is in the hospital fighting for his life. We don't know if he's going to make it. So President Trump heard about that, and they discovered that there is a Rahmanullah Lakanwal, 29. This is a gentleman that we granted asylum. He's an Afghan. We granted him asylum in April. And so he, I don't know what his malfunction is, but he decided he was going to attempt to murder one National Guardsman, was successful with the other. Horrible situation, So President Trump has announced, as expected, an immediate reprisal to this the system right now. So largely we've discussed in past videos about illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, and other people that don't belong in the country. Now we're going to discuss permanent residents, green card holders. Effective immediately, Trump administration will review all permanent residents. And if you can't prove that you're of any value to our country or being here, you will be put out effective immediately. That's all permanent. If you've got a green card, that's every permanent resident in the United States. You're under review. If you fail the review, you will be terminated, put on a plane within 24 hours, and shot back to your country. I understand this has to do with an Afghan national, but the reality of it is, that's a big deal. In addition to that, permanent residents that are not U.S. residents will also have, and according to the article, all subsidies, funds, Section 8, and all of the programs that you would get through the U.S. government have been terminated. So if you are a permanent resident with a green card in the U.S., you may not benefit from any federal system, including food stamps, Section 8 housing, any form of housing, loans, or other options. It's all been terminated. Okay. And they're going to do a review of all persons coming from what to be considered a third world country. And likely they've already ended immigration. So there is zero immigration at this point. Nobody can come into the country because of this, what's happened. And so they're terminating that as well. That plays a dual effect in this video because I can't believe I have to report on this, but we can't have people from other countries being here. We grant them asylum and they turn around and murder people. Okay. This guy's permanent. He's not even illegal. We help the person save their own life by coming here. And in turn, they executed one person and another person. We don't even know if they're going to be dead. So I think the rather impromptu response to this is, rule number one, if you are a permanent resident, you've just been vanquished from all federal services, period. The U.S. will no longer allow you to use any part of the federal system for any type of assistance whatsoever. It's over with. Okay. So effective immediately, that ends. Second policy is immigration is shut. Third policy is all permanent residents with a green card in this country will be under review. And the vast majority will get a plane right out of the country because we reached a boiling point in the U.S., not only with immigrants, illegal immigrants, and now permanent residents. And that's the final leg of this is being shut down. The effect of that overall will be that it'll free up a tremendous amount of housing, whether it's the purchase of a home, whether it's a rental, or whether it's a subsidized property or Section 8. You're talking about millions of people that are fixing to get on a plane because we as a nation can't do this. We can't have people just executing people like this, and it's even worse that this person was by proxy saved from whatever issue he had out there, brought here, made a permanent resident, and he turned around and basically murdered one person, and another's, messed up and may not even make it. In other words, he's fighting for his life in ICU. You don't get to come to our country and do that, okay? Ever. So that circumstance is pretty much canceled any future of anybody entering this country and receiving any help at all. It's closed the border, and the consequences will be rather dire. And they're going to now review all permanent resident applications and green cards. And the vast majority, I can tell you that Trump's administration is very strict about this. If you're probably not bringing in $1 million a year to this country and you haven't added anything to benefit to this country, then you might as well go ahead and pack your slippers in your suitcase. You should expect in the next 90 days, your ass is out, okay? This country has been a host of people from all around the world for a very long time, and we've tried to help people from all over the world. These debts cannot be paid in murder. Okay, that's concerning even for me. We're not even talking about an illegal or otherwise. We're talking a person which saved their life and they turn around and murder our U.S. citizens and police and National Guard. Now, this was not an involved incident. In other words, these National Guardsmen weren't trying to arrest or do anything to this person. They simply went out there and decided to become a cold-hearted killer. And the consequence of this lesson is it's now ruined any potential for anybody else entering this country as a green holder or a permanent resident. Further, it's put a big microscope on it. And I can tell you, if you're thinking that President Trump is going to give you a break, you're wrong. Okay? He's not. So what we'll see for December and January and February as a complete and formal review going back about 30 years on every permanent resident in the U.S. packing a green card, and a vast majority of you will be leaving. If you cannot prove any benefit, if you so much as if you flick a cigarette out the window, okay, and you get a ticket, you're gone. No criminal violations, okay? That's tough rules, but that's the way it's going to be. So it's sad we have to report on something like that. By the way, I want to introduce my new secretary of the office. She's on lunch break right now. She's had a little too much. There she is. Little mama. We brought her in this morning. She's been an office supervisor, for a good 5 to 6 years. She does take a siesta occasionally, but I think this morning she indicated to me that my office hours were a bit too early and that she wasn't feeling it. So she told me she'd get back with me and start work after she had a little snoozy. So we'll have to wait for little mama here to wake up. All right, I'm going to address some comments. This video is not designed to be long. I just want to bring the attention to it because, again, we are National Guardsmen better than this. Whether you're from this country or not, it's human life. And so this will be in memory of Sarah Beckstrom. And we hope that Sergeant Andrew Wolf, age 24, is fighting for his life today, is going to make it. Nobody should see a kid that age shot down and just executed, basically, almost. I hope he makes it. I mean, I can only imagine his parents right now. This kid comes out here to defend the honor of the U.S. and he gets repaid with a bullet. Sarah gets executed on the street for doing her job for our country. Also, one additional thing that's come out and we've become aware of is it appears the Trump administration will be moving forward with an invasion on, if I can think of the name, still early in the morning, but goodness, what is the name of that country? Venezuela. So President Trump has announced that they're going to be making a land move on them. And so it looks like U.S. troops will be entering Venezuela very soon. Probably one of our dictator removals, as usual. We've been doing this for 100 years. If you don't like the management, remove them. So I suppose the Venezuelan people should expect American troops pretty soon. I know they've surrounded the island with warships, probably about 15 of them. And according to Venezuela and their people and their army, you know, they say they don't want any action, but it's hard to tell, you know. If it's true, then they're running drugs off that coast like that, then that's going to be a problem for everybody involved. So, all right. That being said, I'm going to address a few comments here, and then we're going to close up the video. I don't want to do a long video today. And I want to bring up something other interesting for those of you who want to hang out a minute and just kind of get to know me and little mama, my cat. And I got a bunch of them. I'll post a photo about that. I kept smelling an odd smell, and I thought it was little mama passing gas. She did it to me in the middle of a video. And, of course, I played that off because I love my cat. I don't want her to look bad. But this morning, I got the surprise of my life. So we have Thanksgiving, and, you know, I get another whiff of the bad boo-boo, you know. So there's a guest room next to my office. I never go in there. I mean, I keep stuff in there, including stuff from when my mom passed away and other, you know, Halloween decorations. So anyway, I smelled a lot of boo-boo this morning, and I went to go check it out. So I go in that bathroom. Everything appears to be in order. You know what I'm saying? And it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. So we got a nice smell of boo-boo in the house. And I walk into the walk-in shower, and my God, Kiki has poured a chocolate malt all over in the shower. About a week's worth of boo-boo in the shower. You could make a chocolate float with this. I like to peel out in the bathroom. So it turns out Grandma Gracie, you know, most of you know her. She's my oldest cat at 26. I was wondering where she was sneaking off to. And I kept smelling boo-boo in the house, but I could never figure out what the deal is. So I got about an inch of shit in my shower. Like I told you guys, my life is just as mangled as everybody else. I wake up, I got 4 pounds of boo-boo in the shower. You know, I got cats that don't ever go to work. They're just passed out. Look like she's had a few drinks at the bar, you know, completely gone. Little mama, you know, and then, you know, I got little pops around the house. He pisses on everything. So everybody knows who he is. I've lost my phone. Can't find the company phone. Business starts Monday, and I've got no phone. I guess that got left at the dollar store while I was going to get cat food. And so I'm having a fantastic week, a fantastic day between shit, piss, and everything else. I've now roasted about 3 hours of my day. And I still have to go into town, you know. And so if you ever feel like your life is going to hell in a handbasket, I can relate to that right now. You know, I almost spent half my day in there with bleach and shit everywhere. So that's how life goes sometimes. I was a little shocked at that. That was a lot of boo-boo. It went on for 2 weeks. And not only that, you light a match in that bedroom, we're all gone. It's going to be boom. Why? Because doo-doo's been in the shower so long and the gas is built up. So now I've got to go visit all my rooms and see why the cats have boo-booed so much. And I can tell because it's almost like a milkshake that I'm going to choke and vomit trying to do this. You call the mate, she's going to want $900. She's going to look at me and go, yeah, get your checkbook out. Ain't nobody trying to do some shit like this. I get it. So I'm going to be in there with a gas mask. I'm just not thrilled about this. And then I'm going to get done. I'm going to smell like cat shit. My shoes are going to have it on it, you know. So I've got to saran wrap myself in a scented trash bag at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know. I just don't feel like I got my shit together today at all. You know, meanwhile, we've got servicemen dying. I mean, I'm not trying to make any humor with that at all, but I'm just like, can I get a break here? We have a cat door. I don't understand why my cats have a mental defect with using the fucking hole in the door. Okay? I understand Gracie's 22 pounds. She's 26 years old. We don't have cat walkers. But why would you want to shit in my shower for a week or two? That's a lot. So I guess she's been in there finger painting. I don't know, man. I'm just a little upset this morning. I can't make a call. The phone's been ripped off at the dollar store. The cat shit in the shower. Pops is pissed on everything, and I got 400 things to do. And on top of all that, I'm reading about people that have died and are, you know, because Afghans and illegals, and it's hard to report good news when bad things are happening, you know. Anyways, you don't have to sympathize with me. I don't really deserve that much sympathy. This is actually just a day in life of shit that I deal with, just like every other American. You wake up, you just deal with it. So, all right, I'm gonna roll it back. If anybody found that offensive, well, tough shit. Okay, that's just life. I'm not gonna apologize for talking about real life here. Peace out says peace and love, y'all. Well, thank you, along with a peace emoji and a frog emoji. Tell me about that frog emoji. I don't understand why that got included. You must have had a seizure at the keyboard and punch that in. Dementia, I love that name. Morning, Jay. Hello. Don't forget to say hello to my dead muppin back here. Motel 6, I'm running. I'm running a soup kitchen in a neighborhood for all the animals. I feed squirrel. Look, you that cat door, when you live in the country, it's not just a porthole for a dog or a cat. It's a porthole for anybody in the neighborhood. Let me explain what I mean by that. Do you know how many times at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, I woke up and I looked in the beady-eyed little not a raccoon. Yeah, a raccoon. One night I kept hearing crunching. I'm like, no cat eats that way. And what do I see? About a 20-pound possum. He cocks his eye to the left. It's that cock with attitude, like, hey, who the fuck are you? I'm having lunch here. Who are you? And so the possum cocks his eye and looks at me all funky, like he's in my bedroom munching. He didn't ate through 15 pounds of cat food. I kept wondering why I was buying cat food. We were buying epic amount, but none of the cats were getting any fatter. I was like, what the hell's going on? Turns out we're taking turns through the cat door. I've got a possum that comes in and a raccoon. One night I went in there. I had 4 baby, was it a raccoon? Yeah, it was a raccoon, 4 of them, along with mama. All in the kitchen. We eat the hot dog buns. We made the hamburger buns. We made every fucking cracker in the house, so you can't have no soup with that. And then, raccoons can eat about 4 to 5 pounds of cat food in a single sitting. And if you leave them a water bowl, you know what they do? They're like children with finger paints. They sit there and they wet their little beady hands as they eat. So they pick the food right out the bowl and they munch on it. And then they wash their hands. And so the water looked like it's got doo-doo in it, right? So there we are. But anyways, if you're going to live on a couple of acres near a forest, look, be ready to feed the rats, the roaches, the snakes, the possum, the raccoons. I found one in the trash. I'll go put my trash in, and there's the raccoon waiting on me, waiting for me to supply dinner. I told you, I'm running a soup kitchen for the entire fucking forest out here. So that's my morning. How's y'all's going? Anyways, Miss Lily Rose, my thoughts and prayers absolutely for our National Guardsmen that have died. Karen knows, damn shame. It's more than that. But, let this be a lesson, this event, that we're no longer as a nation going to tolerate shit like this. If we've got to borrow school buses from every school in America and start putting people out this fucking country, then that's what we need to do. Okay. Look, everybody wants to contribute and bring things as a country and help other people, right? But we can't do it at the cost of being murdered. Okay, so if America needs to close the doors, that's what we need to do. I mean, just skipping right back to that. This man has now murdered somebody. We got a staff sergeant, 24-year-old, and he's fighting for his life. And the only damn thing he did was go out there to defend our honor. Same as the military. Nobody did anything to this guy, Mr. Rahmanullah Lakanwal, 29-year-old. In fact, we took his ass in, and we get repaid with murder. So I'm beginning to agree in many ways with President Trump's policies in terms of immigration. This doesn't help it. Should we wait till 50 people are dead? This is a problem. So moving on from there, Karen knows there, or Little Mama. Yep, that's her in the back of the chair. Christopher Perkins, we love MAGA. Well, one way or another, I don't have an opinion, but when January 1st hits and I retire, I'll have my opinion. I cannot have it as a consultant right now. I never have. It means that I'll be able to vote and do things then. But for now, I have no opinion to share, okay? Moving there, Karen knows, laughing out loud, Jay. Yep. It's literally the definition of having a shitty day, right? Stormy laughing emojis. Christopher Perkins, Trump is the best. Okay, Chris, I appreciate your commentary. YouTube gives me a shit emoji. Urban, 3 laughing emojis. Just so you know, guys, it's laughing emojis. I'm reading late into this. They're not discussing these laughing emojis are about my story, not about the servicemen. Okay, let's just make that distinction real quick. Urban Dictus, dang. Janet laughing out loud about the shit in the shower. Karen knows on OJ, yes. If you live by me, I've got a job this morning to clean the shower. I'm going to not disclose your shit in it because, frankly, who would want to do that? Call the maid, hey, do you have a pair of rubber boots? Can you come over? I've got a little something brown in the shower. This is an enclosed shower. I mean, it's like a shower bomb. This is what's so strange about cat. We have a cat, as I mentioned, a cat door. We have litter boxes. But because Grace is so old, she don't give a shit. She's like one of the old people go up in the store and don't give a square shit about nothing. She don't care if she's rude. She don't care where she shits, And then when I cure one problem, I put a gate around my video area here. And so I could only see Grandma Gracie, my 26-year-old cat, thinking, okay, you want to play that, bitch? I got you. I'll just cruise right through the office, not the office, the video area, and I'll just shit in your shower. I'll show you. She was doing that in the laundry room. I put up a gate. It won't be long before I'm a prisoner in my own home. I'm put bars everywhere because when Grandma Gracie goes, she shits on the way to where she's gone. So now it's there. Now I'm going to have to close off that room, and I'm going to need a key. I'm going to need a prison key to every room in the house. My guests will come up, Jay, why do you have bars and everything? Because Grandma Gracie shits everywhere. And it ain't simple stuff, She's shooting out entire chocolate malts in places. She'll do it for a week straight, It's like the maid come over. Oh, yeah, well, how are you, Mr. Roulette? And, oh, well, here's the estimate. And then she leaves because ain't nobody wants to do this. So I'm stuck. So I'm going to ride around today, do my chores while smelling like cat shit. Anyways, Oding, you created your own cat's responsibilities. At least you have things to do. God, that's profound. You said that, man. That is so profound. You created your own cat responsibilities. I appreciate the lack of empathy. You remind me of myself. YouTube 1970, laughing out loud. Janet laughing out loud. Prayers for Andrew Wolf. I'm sure that young man's going to appreciate that. I hope he makes it. Better be glad we're not back in the biblical times when it was an eye for an eye, because they did daily executions. They didn't even wait. There was no judge. The villagers would just take you down to the hanging deal and you're done. I don't understand why we have people sitting on death row for 30 years anymore. 40 years. We can solve the problem right out of court. Just march them out to the corner, You kill somebody, you get killed. It seems fair to me. Why do we need to even vote on that? But I understand there's due process and people do get convicted for things they don't do in this country at times. But moving on there, Storm Gavin, me too here, better than humans in your trash can. You're right. I'd hate to wake up and have a human in my trash can, but I got to tell you, looking at a possum at 6 in the morning ain't a lot of fun either. Because you know what he does. He gets in the trash can, that old possum, that little bastard, and he opens the lid. After he's eaten whatever he's going to get out that trash, then he pops the trash over the fucking lawn. That's what really gets me. They can leave the trash in there, but it's like he's saying, hey, you didn't have sufficient amount of dinners for me, so therefore, I'm going to fuck you today. I'm going to take all the trash out of the trash can. I'm going to pop this shit everywhere like confetti. So my fat ass, 300 pounds, roll around the yard, and I've got to do, the Jenny Craig in the backyard all day. Trust me, when you're heavy, it's a little different. Bayou Boy, Muffin says your rocking chair too much. Yeah, I know, but my cats are skilled at being on top of things, okay? Trust me. They jump on my head all the time. She'll make it. See, look. They got built-in stabilization, even in their sleep. Karen knows, thank you, Mr. President. She says, Storm Gavin, service members are a backbone. They absolutely are. Without our military and without our National Guard, we'd be in trouble as a country. And without them in our cities right now, we would probably still we would be in a worse housing crisis than ever. Karen knows, laughing aloud. Jethro Trucker, I like your cat. Can I have him? It's a her, actually. That's little mama. She's female. When she was young, she has a very unusual marble coat to her. And when you look at her side, she has a perfect heart in black with gold around it. She's a very... I've not seen many cats with her particular type of coat. Some of you may have in other parts of the country, but down here, she's a very unusual coat. So I call her marble cat. And she doesn't get along with any other cat. She's very independent. Shevis Brown. I do qualify as disabled. I just got a housing voucher. Congratulations. Deborah Brandon. Each of my 5 daughters took their cats with them when they left the house and got married and moved out. That was a hard one to read. Are you excited about that or what? Karen knows prayers for Andrew Wolf. Absolutely. Angela, well, so glad Trump wants to set this country right. She says, Karen knows 100%. Stormy Gavin, I'd help you clean if I was there for free. Well, that's the very thing I'm going to be doing after this video. I would actually I'd do a short video, show you what I was doing, but YouTube would put me out for that. I can't show them the real life. Jethro Trucker says, can I still have her anyway? Unfortunately, no. Okay, all 33 cats that I've had over the years as rescues I keep, okay? A lot of these cats have been abused and other things, and therefore, once I take a responsibility for a soul, I don't ever let it go. The only cats that I rehome are kittens, and the reason that I rehome kittens is nothing's happened to them, and kittens it's much easier for people to build a relationship with a kitten from birth. It's a lot easier to deal with them. Female cats are especially easy to deal with. So you can have all the female, like most of my cats are females, and I only have a few males. It works out pretty well that way, actually. The males they're good managers, they're very good stewards, and they'll run to the aid of my females very quickly. They'll battle, trust me. My little pops, he's orange, he's male. That cat lets out a meow the wrong way, he'll run down there and go take care of business. So my cats are very good about that. But when I take a commitment for something, whether it be a case through my company or whether it's a cat, I don't give the world another opportunity to fuck over these cats. So I keep them till they pass. That's why I have these cats so long. The reason she sleeps that way, she has nothing to worry about. I've got a cat where an owner threw cooking oil on her, damn near bowled her skin off. It took me 5 years just to get her mentally right, several more additional years to get her trust back. And to this day, even leaving to go to the gas station, she cries the minute I come back because she's concerned she's going to be abandoned. So no, I don't give cats away that are abused, period. She's fine now, and she's a little bit more than fine. She's a little heavy, but that goes with the theme of my house, right? Nobody's thin around here. Chevy Brown, you're helping get housing for me and my 15-year-old. We need a housing voucher. Oh, okay. Well, I'll post a little bit of information. I realize it's not relative to the subject matter of the video, but if you're looking for help, we have our company information in the description, okay? I realize that me being a Section 8 consultant doesn't jive with everybody's beliefs here, okay? Clearly, I have both Democrats and Republicans here. I, like most Americans, have a job, and I do it very well. I care, and I care about my clients and the ones that aren't trying to commit fraud. But beyond that, today's about the servicemen and, of course, the incident with my cat. So moving on from there, I recently got a Siamese kitten from Perils. Well, let me give you some advice about Siamese. Okay, anybody owns a Siamese, best only own one and no other cats. Siamese do not get along with virtually any other type of cat. If you have a bunch of other cats with you and then get a Siamese, it's almost a guarantee they'll run away. And they're not so much moody, but they require an immense amount of attention. Okay, it can cause problems. I've had several. My latest Siamese, she died. I took her to 4 vets, 3 missed that she had a baseball-sized cancer inside of her, so she was suffering, and we ended up having to put her to rest to give her a better life. I wasn't going to I wasn't going to keep her alive on pain pills simply for my benefit and pleasure. I understood the value of her life, and I felt that it would be best she spent her time with her creator. Moving on. YouTube 1970 cooking oil. Yep. Oh, man, look, I've got cats with broken legs. I've got cats that have been burned by cooking oil. I've got cats that have been starved so badly their bone structure's messed up. I've got one cat's got genetic defects, literally, from the way that they were treated. Okay. Well, I shouldn't say treated, by a lack of treatment called severe defects. I've got disabled cats, one with spina bifida, no tail, incontinent. Vet was going to take a needle about this long. You didn't know vets use with kittens, they use a long needle. There's no sedation. Alive and perfectly awake, they hit them with a needle and irradiate the heart and kill them that way. When vet told me that, I had a bunch of choice words, and it ultimately led to two police units being called because that kitten, she couldn't prove the three qualities that I require, and that's, is the cat, can it be healed? Does it have quality of life? And is it in pain? And can we solve that? None of those factors were in play at all. Just as a method to that veterinarian saying that to me, I lost my shit in there and tried to give her to reconsider, why she became a vet. You don't just arbitrarily put shit down like that. Would you do that to your mother? So I didn't. And his name is Bunny. He's still alive. And guess what? Besides peeing on himself and walking a little bit funny and not having a tail, there's not a damn thing wrong with him. So I'm the only thing that stood between another killer, the vet. Not all vets are like that, okay? Recommend terminating everything. But no, I ain't going to do that. I'll terminate my TV, but I have a deep amount of respect for life. Moving on from there, sorry, I don't mean to lecture anybody on their morals, characters, or ethics. I'm just saying. Karen knows, appreciate you, Jay. Faith Stevens, welcome. Oh, well, Faith, thank you for joining our channel, becoming a member. We can always use another person. By the way, guys, if you subscribe or you become a member of the channel, if you wish, it's very cheap, like $1 or $2 or $5. You get notifications, and we talk about a lot of housing and subsidies, but we also talk about other things. And I'm a pretty genuine guy. I don't really care about YouTube's policies in terms of being mean or using profanities or just being real. It's something we're very rarely afforded. Most everybody else is trying to curate themselves into something they're not. They can't be honest. They can't share anything about who they are. They're just like a plastic Barbie doll making videos. The inception of their videos are so articulated. They're so polished that you're no longer dealing with something that's real anymore. We lack that realism these days. Everything has to be super positive. It's like we got to spoon feed the children these days positive energy. Nothing can be bad. So they're ill prepared for life. Everything's mental duress for them. And so I don't deal in that jazz, here in this channel. I like to address it. I don't mind exposing my own faults, putting my own business in the street. Okay. And I enjoy people that are like that. You don't have to be quite me, but I enjoy people that see it the way I do. Anyways, moving on. Hi, I'm late. Well, it's okay. I've been, as usual, rambling on, and I'm glad to have you here at the day after Thanksgiving. Tangible hope. I have 6 kitties and adopted when the kitties 3. I found my woodpile and I fed their stray mom. Well, good for you. You did something that's good for the planet here, and that's helping out. The old cat lady died next door, adopted 22 cats. Goodness. You got to be careful, and you got to have a lot of money to deal with that many cats, okay? You can run into large bills. Karen knows robots. Annie Tonic. I'm disabled, 6 years old. I have a cat. They all are all I have besides Jesus, so I'm grateful for my cats. I have one simple principle, whether we're talking about immigration issues, National Guardsmen dying, or we're dealing with cats. When it comes to humans and it comes to pets, these things, or especially pets, they're the only things that are going to love you unconditionally. They're not going to judge you and will always appreciate you, okay? But we spend so little energy, for most of us, on our own pets. And they're not really pets. They're another form of life on Earth. We were put in charge of these animals on Earth. So why does so much terrible shit happen to them? there are a few of us out there that understand, what we're called to do. And we're all of us as humans are called to do different things. For those young men, that young woman that got killed as a National Guardsman, defending the honor of our country, and that young man fighting for his life that's a National Guardsman hospital today, they were called to be there. And ultimately, one of them lost their life and another may, all for our freedoms. So everybody in this channel visiting here to learn about immigration and other issues, this is not an issue of shaming every person from another country. It's an issue of America having to pull out a book, having to pull out a piece of paper and do some accounting. Things have to change. Cannot be business as usual anymore. And so whether a U.S. president does a little or a lot, all these things contribute. We've been operating into the same premise for too long, and now it's time to shake shit up. And things are getting shook up, and people are losing their life over this stuff. And we owe, as Americans, we owe these young adults here, a 24-year-old and that young lady that's dead now, we owe them more. They fought for us. They lost their lives senselessly because of an idiot that we tried to help and defend his own ass from his own country. This guy came in. We granted a visa to him to protect him, I guess, from the Afghan people or whoever was creating a problem from there. He comes here and then he murders our people. And so we got, this is a risk assessment. We have to look at these things. So if President Trump decides that we're going to close immigration, we're going to re-review all green cards, all permanent residents, and if you're not bringing anything shit to this table other than being on our system and also cutting off all the welfare, no food stamps, no Section 8 housing, all that shit just got cut off with them. You're a permanent resident, you're doing Section 8, you got a food stamp card or other welfare, you're of no benefit to this country. You're here for the wrong reason, okay? America's not a soup kitchen, okay? We have enough problem with our own people right now, okay? So that's over with. When you go out and you start murdering and killing our people and the people that serve our country to keep us safe, then, yeah, we have to reevaluate the system works, okay? Pray about that later, but hey, that's what it is. Just like, they're here to serve. These people, these are kids, man. These are not grown men. It'd be fine. You're going to shoot somebody, come shoot my ass. Okay? But these young adults, they didn't even know when they clocked in for work they were going to be murdered by a man that came to a country for a country that literally defended his ass. Now, if you got a problem with that, you're not American. You can get the fuck out of my channel. That's the way I feel about that. Mostly, I know you're true-blooded Americans. And for those of you that are permanent residents and on a green card, if you're here doing the right shit, then I commend you. Welcome to America. We appreciate what you brought to America. If you're here for any other fucking reason, you got to go. Okay? We're not running a soup kitchen no more. We're not a homeless shelter for the planet. We're not a soup kitchen for the planet. And just as clear as Trump said, effective immediately, there's not going to be any more giveaways. All that shit's over with. If you've got it, you probably get notice before the end of December. Your housing, your food stamps, all that shit gets cut off. So if you needed all that, you never belonged here to start with exception to those who were brought during wartime and brought here for reasonable purposes. But we can't do this no more. Not when I've got veterans sitting on the sidewalk that can't get housing for a year. Okay, we'll serve our veterans first. That's how that works. When you're in Afghan, wherever Afghan is, as a nation, I'm not sure what country that is, then you're serving your own people. We have the same fucking right to do that here. Okay? So, I didn't see the Americans go over to Afghan and kill a bunch of people. Though admittedly, the U.S. does start a lot of wars. That's different, right? You don't see me going to China. Hey, excuse me, I just arrived. I've got $1 in my pocket. I'm going to need welfare, food stamps, housing. I've got 83 children. 3 of them just crossed the river. The other 15 on the plane. Can I just get a little bit of everything? A sampler basket. By the way, I'll run to the nearest gun shop, buy a gun, and let me see how many fucking National Guardsmen I can kill. We're done with that as a country. So if President Trump wants to do business within 24 hours, then I commend his efforts. Does that mean that I'm a Republican or I enjoy everything he does? Of course not. I don't have a party as of current. In fact, from one video to the next, you guys always tell me I'm on the fence. I'll be on the fence. I'll be on the fence January 1st. You'll find out exactly where I am. But until then, it's not about politics, is it? It's about two young adults that lost their life in a country that tried to give a man a second chance. And he repaid us with murder. That's what it is. So, anybody, I'm just going to be clear about this. Anybody I find that says something sideways about these guardsmen or you disagree with it, you're out my channel, okay? You're done. As far as I'm concerned, best to ship your ass off too. We'll find you a third world country and jump your ass off there because you're not an American. Okay, that's clear. Make yourself clear. Put you out of here. I don't have time for that. So, anyways, to make clear, I'm going to do a recap of those that just joined us. And again, I'm on a little bit of a run today and use a little bit more profanities than I really wanted to. But President Trump has declared because of his and again, I want to repeat the names here, National Guard's soldiers. Sarah Beckstrom has passed away from being shot by Rahmanullah Lakanwal, age 29, and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf is fighting for his life and may not make it today. Two young adults in their mid-20s or earlier, one dead, one almost dead, because of this gentleman that we granted a permanent residency to. We gave you a home in this country, and you fucked us, man. So President Trump has declared all federal benefits to all permanent residents are cut off. If you have permanent residency or green card, you will be reviewed. They will be existential with this. They're going to go back in time. They'll warp it back 30 years. They're doing that already. And if you're not bringing something to this table, okay, your ass is out of here. And the main focus of the review is for third world countries. I don't know who determines it. Used to think it was just derogatory to say that, but I don't know who makes those determinations. But everybody's case is under review now. So for Christmas, we're going to be the U.S. will be purchasing fuel and tickets and handcuffs, and your ass can go back where you came from. You are no longer going to sit on Section 8, any welfare system, food stamps, none of that shit. Okay? You want to come here, you need to be a productive citizen in the United States. Otherwise, you got to go. And we made that message clear, effective immediately by order of the U.S. president. And when Congress gets a hold of this, let me tell you, Congress has got a lot of heat. So does the House. They're going to react with even more rules. And as far as I know, I may be wrong here, I believe we have closed all immigration to the country from about 29 countries at this point due to this. Oh, and here's our newest Kiki, my baby. She was thrown out of a car window. Oh, I forgot. These girls don't get along. Oh, I can peel the claws. Oh, my God. Come on, baby. Mama don't like extra. So that's a cat fight. I didn't mean for that to happen, obviously. It's my new baby. She's got she ended up getting a spinal fracture in her leg, and she's a little bit deaf in her ear, but she's not figured out the pecking order around the house yet, so don't worry about her. She's fine. She doesn't know any better. She's a kitten, a little bit of an older kitten, but she's all right. My older cats are a bit moody, so she'll be all right. All right. Let me let you know, Mama. I'm sorry. That's the problem with making videos and having cats. Things happen, So I just got tore up in my own video. Now I got about 5 more holes. So while I'm cleaning the doo-doo out the shower from Grandma Gracie, I've now got holes in my back. Oh, it feels wonderful. I'm wide awake now. No coffee needed. I just needed a good clawing for the morning. So that's my speech in terms of what's going to happen. If you are a permanent resident, my office will not be able to assist you. If you have a green card or you're a permanent resident, I will not be able to help you, okay? It's our company policy that we service United States citizens, okay? It's nothing personal. I have lots of rules. Just like I have rules, and these are personal. I have a right to refuse service, and I will, okay? I'm not here for the benefit and pleasure of people from other nations, okay? I'm here for the benefit and pleasure of American citizens that are here legally, okay? Beyond that, we run criminal background checks on all people we deal with. If in your background, most things I'll deal with, but I will not deal with animal abusers, uh, people that have abused the elderly or women or children. If you're in those categories, I will effectively hang up on your ass and terminate your case. Okay, I don't deal with any abusers, and we do not handle cases anymore related to green cards or permanent residencies. Not after this. Okay, so you have to find somebody else. I'm not getting involved. Okay, I draw a very, very thick line when it comes to this. We have, as a country, we have got to serve our people. I'm not in the benefit and service of other people from other places in the country. There's lots of people willing to sell their soul as a consultant. I'm not going to be one of them. Moving on from there, a train, great DA, Yo Girl, love Line Foods. I have three, so does my daughter. Not a good clawing. Look, you don't even know. I've got scars. I mean, you should see my legs. No, apologize. Do your thing. Thank you. Loretta, this country is so full of immigrants. They have, okay. Guys, please don't go up in the deep end in the comments section about immigrants. Not everybody's bad from other places. I'm just suggesting that, we have the same problem every other nation has. Every country needs to service their own people. We don't need to be running around and playing pick the best country. Countries need to solve their own problems, okay? And that includes their citizens. If you're from Venezuela, then the Venezuelan people need to figure out their own shit for their own people. If you're Afghan from wherever that is, you need to figure out shit there. You need welfare and get it from there, okay? We're not a soup kitchen. We're not a homeless shelter. And we're not going to hotel half the planet here, okay? The American dream is for those that are born here. We're not doing permanent residency as much anymore. However, if you've got $10,000, which is what it costs to get a green card now, and you can bring something to the table and improve on top of what we've already done in this country, then that's the new policies. But we can't have permanent residence green card holders committing crimes or killing people. It's just simple as that. This is a sad deal. I mean, these are kids. I'd rather that whoever took those shots, and then I'd rather them kill me. At least, wait till my cats are dead. Okay, go kill somebody that's old that's already lived life. I'd happily take that kid's place. Honestly, that's senseless. The lack of respect for life altogether. I'm thankful the president. Hear you. A train 723. Not every migrant or immigrant is bad, of course, and I made that very clear. My ex-wife wasn't American. Okay, I know all about it. My aunt's from Vietnam. Came back during the Vietnam War. We have people that are immigrants in our own family, but they're here legally, and I don't think they're bad. But that's not the issue or topic here. The issue or topic is two things. One, people here as permanent resident killing people, and two, same circumstance but murdering people, and three, being here as an immigrant or green holder and a permanent resident, but bringing nothing to the table, sitting on welfare. Those are the three issues we're talking about. This is not about being in kindergarten and a teacher handing out cookies for being a good girl and a good boy. That's not what it's about. Whether I like somebody, we're not. As a country, we're not in the business of liking. Is determined entry to most countries is determined whether or not you bring something to the table. President Trump has indicated if you're not bringing shit to the table, you got to go. If you're going to kill people, you got to go. And if you're coming from a place where the thought and ideology of that country is to be risky and dangerous, and you just murder and kill each other, then we need to reevaluate whether you can come here. Okay, you want to make war in your country, and then all of a sudden you want to pop out of it. You want to get out to action, come here, and then you turn around and kill some people. Then you got to go. So yeah, it's not about likes. I like lots of people. I like white folks. I like brown folks. I like Hispanic folks. I like black people, man. And we got all three in our family. Okay, my mother's third husband was African American. My ex-wife was Hispanic. So ain't nobody gonna tell me shit about immigration and not liking or liking. But all these people I'm discussing are here illegally, and they brought something to the table. That's what's questionable. That's what we're questioning. Anyways, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Enjoyed having you guys. I'm glad we could share a bit about the servicemen. Our hearts do certainly go out to those in the family. If you any of you know how to reach either family, do reach out to them and give your condolences. Okay. For those of you that joined us this morning in the discussion of our cats and all the cats I have in my video, I appreciate that. It's one of the things that helped me connect with you guys. Is we all have a love of pet ownership, and for those of you that are at the core of politics that came here to understand what's going on, well, we don't need a reason as a country to do what we do, but we have to make tough choices, and sometimes it doesn't favor everybody. Okay, it isn't about whether or not America likes people or not. It's about what's fair, what's legal, and what's responsible to do. Even my aunt from Vietnam understood that. So let's just be clear. Let's set that record straight. It's not about likes or dislikes. It's about whether or not we're letting people enter the country, whether illegally or legally, and are they bringing something to the table? Sometimes you got people that are illegally here that bring a lot to the table, and you got permanent residents that bring nothing. You know, think about it is this like any other country, there's due process. You go and you run across the border in Russia, there's no due process. You get a bullet. You pull that shit in China, you might spend 80 years in prison. In America, we're a little bit more tolerable than that. But what we're saying is we're less welcoming to people invading the country or coming here. And then I'm going to be a good Christian when I get here. And then you do one thing and then you do it. And then you turn around and do something different. So now we have 2 dead people. And this isn't the first story along the lines. These aren't the first 2 kids to die at the hands of trying to defend their country. And mind you, the gentleman that killed that National Guardsman and put another on the death line today, that guy wasn't being arrested. This was just straight up murder. Murder without even a cause. Had he not pulled the trigger, he'd still be a permanent resident and half the country wouldn't be affected right now. So, you know, it just really makes me sad. I mean, I think about this stuff a lot. You know, I wish there were easier ways, for people to be able to join the country, but these are difficult times, and as a country, we have to make difficult decisions. A lot of you would argue against immigration altogether. And look, the thing we're not focusing on is while we talk about immigration, let's roll the record back for those who would argue against it or for it. Let's roll the record back. In January 1st, we're putting out nearly 1 million Americans, okay? Seniors, veterans, and children on the street. Now, do we need to serve the man that fought a war for our country that's now going to be housed on the sidewalk? Should we address him, or should we go out, raise flags, and thank the killer that just killed 2 National Guardsmen and say, I'm a real fucking American? So ask yourself that. What's your priority? Americans, the veteran on the sidewalk, the 90-year-old woman freezing to death in a car, or this Afghan man with a gun? Let me know if you're American in here. I'd love to know, because your fucking argument isn't going to work with me. Let's be honest about that. We have shit we need to solve here. And the more people that go, the easier it is to help the people that need help here. So if we're going to argue immigration either way, then we should argue also the veterans, seniors, and the 3-year-olds on the sidewalk, the babies on the sidewalk, the American babies on the sidewalk, the veteran that fought 7 tours on the fucking sidewalk. Well, where's the flags and protests for that? You want to talk? You want to start do some talking? Let's talk. Let's talk about both halves of the deal. So no, I really don't give a shit about the green card or a permanent residency. What I care about are Americans. Okay? This is not a hotel. We got our own shit to deal with. We're $39 trillion in debt. You want to come over and pay some American debt? Then yeah, look, I'll bring you a bottle of champagne, some strawberries, even a hooker if you wish. But if you ain't going to do that and bring something to the table, then look, we ain't printing no green cards. 1 million people, January 1st, up to 1 million. So anytime anybody makes a video, we need to address both. Oh, I'm pro immigration, or I'm against immigration, but we also need to talk about the millions on the street. Let's talk about Momo. Let's talk about the veteran. Let's talk about the baby. Let's talk about the domestic violence victim. Let's talk about the middle class family, the house burnt down, but now they're treated like trash on the sidewalk because they got nothing. We just presume all homeless are crackheads. Okay, so if we're going to pass judgment, let's bring both flags and arguments from both sides of the fucking story, not just half this bitch. That's my point. It's hard to talk when you got to face both sides of that, don't you? That's the point here. That's what, when you look at both factors, now you're getting the whole story, not fucking half of it. Then hey, that'll let you know early when you go home and think about this. That'll let you know. You can decide whether you're really an American at that point. Okay, so make your decision. Should we keep the babies on the sidewalk and the veteran on the sidewalk and grandma, or should we let and just start printing fucking green cards? And with the green card, you get one complimentary shotgun and pistol with it, right? Fuck it, let the whole planet in. So that's my point. I enjoy people all over the world. I enjoy my Australians, my Europeans. I love the people out in Hong Kong. I visited Singapore. Those are awesome people. Okay. Been to certain parts of Africa. Enjoy them. Enjoy the shit out of them, actually. Fun. Even got friends from Saudi Arabia. Enjoy them. Because I understand when people represent people, doesn't necessarily mean they represent their government's actions, right? So I don't ever judge another country by their politics. I judge a human by a human, and I don't worry about what their politics and their politicians do. Same way America's viewed, right? So all I'm saying is we're going to argue pro or against any action on green cards, permanent residency, illegal aliens. Let's also talk about the Americans on the sidewalk. Let's talk about January prayers. Bring the whole story, not half. That you can't just talk about parts that support your agenda and then leave the rest of fucking Americans on the sidewalk. So yeah, I killed that, didn't I? I murdered that right in this video. Everybody wants to do a little video about half the shit, not the whole story. So now we're clear. And so when you take your shower, you get on the toilet, you get in your car today, think about whether or not you're red-blooded American, because your opinions, your ideas, and how you view things will determine that very quickly. And if you don't like being American, then get the fuck out. Simple as that. Ain't nobody forcing you to be here. You can go over there and live in Russia. If you like their policy, go over there. We don't need you here. So be glad this country doesn't evaluate people on what they bring to the table. Otherwise, about a third of Americans would get kicked the fuck out. So be glad we don't operate like other places. So for you permanent residents, green card holders that have come here with due diligence and did the right thing, I commend you and all your efforts to bring something to our great nation. If not, get the fuck out. Okay? Simple as that. No matter where you're from. All right, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If the profanities hurt your feelings, tough shit, we're all adults. I'll look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, I've got Cat Boo in the shower to clean up. I got a lot of errands to run, but it just really touched a nerve for me. You know, watching kids in the National Guard lose their life, not to just anybody, not while arresting somebody, but standing on the sidewalk and get gunned down for no other fucking reason than hate. And the very person that did it, we granted asylum to. We even permitted the bastard to have a gun. We saved him from his own country so he could murder here. How do you not draw a line somewhere? And so the president's taken actions, and those actions are clear. As a final repeat, if you are a permanent resident or a green card holder, the federal government will no longer support you behind welfare, food stamps, housing, or anything else. It's over with. Effective immediately, pushed through Congress. Number two, if you're a permanent resident green card holder and you're considering coming here and doing that, if you come from any number of about 29 nations that may be considered third world, they're not even consider your application at this point. And if you did come from those places, with exception of being from wartime, then there's a high chance that if you've not brought anything to the table in this country, they're going to ask you to leave in the next 90 days. Well, they're not going to ask. I'm just telling you. You'll be given you can just 2 plane tickets being offered. There's one without handcuffs and there's one with handcuffs. And the U.S. government does not mind dissolving all your assets. Okay, you're not going to call back and can you sell my house for me? Okay, they'll seize all your shit. So that's just the way it goes. We have to start doing things. Otherwise, we're going to have people come here and do what the fuck they want because that's what just happened. We didn't go kill somebody that's 53 years old. We killed a bunch of kids. Shameless cowardice. Try to understand this. And so I hope Sergeant Wolf makes it. You guys should look up those people's families and really let them know, that you appreciate their service because they died. Those kids are dying for no reason at all. I could see if this was a shootout or some kind of arrest going down, but to simply just go and kill Americans because we did the most horrible thing. We allowed you into the country and gave you permanent residency. Therefore, that was a license to execute us. So apparently we need to do mental health evaluations as well. Even allowed you to buy a gun and you turned it on us. So it makes you think, well, what stops anybody from doing that? Well, I got to go. I appreciate talking with you guys. Most of my videos aren't like this. I can be quite reserved. Other times I'm a bit spicy. But if you want notifications, you can either subscribe or you can do a membership. Memberships and any money used from that to $1.99 or $5 it costs goes to the care and welfare of our rescue cats. And yes, when I own cats, it is my responsibility financially. I'm just saying that if you get a membership through our channel to get these updates when videos happen, that I use the money for that purpose. I'm not soliciting that anybody needs to use their hard-earned money to help support my cats. I can do that on my own, okay? But I'm just letting you know how I use membership fees, okay? It isn't for me to sit at the bar and have 3 drinks, okay? I've enjoyed talking with you guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.